Welcome to China Uncut, where we expose the stories shaking the world's second largest power. Tonight, shocking allegations of organ harvesting tied to China's Belt and Road Initiative, a spiraling economic crisis squeezing families, and the bizarre rise of human feed sparking outrage. From human rights to dystopian diets, we're diving deep into China's unraveling reality. Let's get started. Shocking new allegations are emerging at a time when the world's most powerful democracies are gathered at the G7 summit in Canada. Medical experts and human rights lawyers are warning that the Chinese Communist Party is using its Belt and Road Initiative not only for economic expansion, but also to export forced organ harvesting and transnational repression. At a June 14th roundtable, Dr. Andreas Weber from Doctors Against Forced Organ Harvesting sounded the alarm. He says China's state-sanctioned organ harvesting is undermining global ethical transplant systems. Organ transplant systems in the US and Europe are based on altruism and ethics. What the CCP is doing completely destroys that foundation, Weber said. Dr. Weber, who began working in transplant medicine in Europe in the early 2000s, said large-scale on-demand transplants were unimaginable until evidence of forced organ harvesting began surfacing from China. Canadian human rights lawyer David Mattes, co-author of the investigative report Bloody Harvest, the Slaughter, cited Chinese government data estimating up to 100,000 transplants per year. And yet, China has virtually no functioning voluntary donation system, Mattes noted. Investigations have long pointed to detained Falun Gong practitioners and more recently Uyghurs as the primary victims. Now, experts say Beijing is exporting its transplant model through the Belt and Road Initiative. A 2025 report by the group WOIPFG reveals China began integrating transplant cooperation into its Belt and Road agenda in 2016, forming an international transplant alliance involving over 60 countries. Weber warned that this could spread unethical practices globally. I worry that without independent oversight, these practices will leak into other countries under the guise of medical cooperation. He recounted first-hand experience using Chinese-developed organ preservation devices in 2015, raising red flags about Beijing's quiet export of transplant tech. In response, the U.S. House of Representatives passed two major bills this May to ban forced organ harvesting and protect Falun Gong practitioners. Canada also enacted a law in 2022 prohibiting its citizens from receiving organs sourced without consent. Mattes and Weber agree the Belt and Road is not just economic, it's a vehicle for repression. The CCP is using trade aid and foreign investment to silence critics abroad and co-opt institutions, said Mattes. Weber added bluntly, "You simply cannot trust the Chinese Communist Party." As G7 leaders weigh policy on global security and human rights, experts are urging them to confront what they say is a silent, expanding atrocity, one that threatens not just individual lives, but the integrity of international medicine. China's economic woes are hitting hard, with pay cuts, layoffs, and deflation squeezing families nationwide. From Beijing to Zhejiang, the mantra is tighten your belt. Here's the latest. Government agencies and state-owned enterprises are slashing salaries. In Beijing, Li, a state employee, saw his monthly pay drop from 6,000 to 5,000 yuan. His wife's private firm colleagues face wage cuts or layoffs. Civil servants aren't spared. In Zhejiang, salaries for public workers have been cut by up to 150,000 yuan annually. Nationwide, fiscal deficits are forcing delayed payments and slashed benefits for police and township officials. Deflation is chilling markets. Pork prices have plummeted, and small businesses are locked in desperate price wars. Residents like Su from Beijing are cutting back on dining and entertainment, signaling a collapse in consumer confidence. Economist Wu Qing warns of a shrinkage chain from government austerity to public spending. He says without consumer drive, China's economic imagination is fading. As China grapples with this economic storm, the question remains, can confidence be restored? Analysts warn if tight days become not just a slogan but a permanent condition, China may face not only an economic slowdown but a collapse of public trust. A controversial food trend is stirring up fierce debate across China: human feed. That's right. What sounds like dystopian science fiction is now real and trending. The product, known as Ruofan or meal replacement feed, is being marketed as an ultra-convenient solution for China's overworked labor force. Just mix it with warm water, wait 3 minutes, and you've got 6 hours worth of nutrients. No cooking, no chewing, no time wasted. The product includes protein, fat, vitamins, and fiber. One influencer praised it as 3 minutes to a full meal, 31 for a whole day's nutrition. But others say something darker. Chinese social media exploded with backlash. One blogger compared it to survival food in a collapsed society. Another wrote, "This is what people eat in the Great Depression or the apocalypse." The product was invented by a programmer in 2015 who was exhausted by long hours, poor health, and no time to eat. Now it's a hit with young professionals who say they're too busy even for lunch. But not everyone is buying it. A Herbal blogger asked, "Have we really advanced as a society if people don't even have time to eat anymore? What's next? Nutrient-full drips at our desks." Some netizens even joked that science fiction food capsules would be more convenient. But many aren't laughing. As one commenter put it, "We are human. We need food. We need sunlight." In a nation obsessed with convenience and speed, is this the future or a warning sign we shouldn't ignore? From the horrors of organ harvesting to economic despair and a society too busy to eat, China's challenges are raising global alarms. Will this crisis reshape the nation or the world? Thanks for watching China Uncut. Subscribe and stay tuned for more hard-hitting truths. See you next time.